We're joined by Shreveport Regional Arts Council Director Pam Atchison. Good morning. Thanks for joining us so early.
Hey, Miss Pam, how are you today?
Thank
we know normally you don't get up to like 11:30 or noon, right? So that's okay. Erin will be back asleep by 11:30 or noon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I enjoy sunrise with the two of you. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was sweet. That was nice.
Pam, you've seen the reports, no doubt, that Trump staffers have recommended that the National Endowment for the Arts be completely cut out. I know you are the SRAC is the biggest recipient of that program here locally. Tell us what you get from the NEA at this point.
Well, first of all, let me just say, Erin, that I'm certainly hopeful that or thankful that the staffers aren't the president right now. Let's start there, and let me just say that the first thing that this community can experience this year from the National Endowment for the Arts is this Friday and Saturday, when through a very generous National Endowment for the Arts grant, we were able to bring up the Creole Wild West Mardi Gras Indians, one of the original Mardi Gras Indian tribes from New Orleans, and they are going to have an exhibition of their cultural heritage and beaded regalia, as well as on Saturday, a free parade through Shreveport Common with drumming and dancing and a chance to see what really the National Endowment for the Arts is about, and that is celebrating our nation's cultural heritage in a way that unites us, the very thing that President Trump says is important to his legacy, the uniting of Americans. And there can be no better way to unite us than to take, through the arts and through creativity and through our culture, a chance to get to know one another better, get to know what we're about, where we're from, and what our creative expression is about. So
you got about 60,000 for that. Is that accurate?
This particular grant, we did receive 100,000 to bring in 4 different artists. So we started out this year with the Stan Lewis Festival. We are doing the Creole Wild West Mardi Gras Indians this week. April 1, no foolin'. We're going to unveil 12 new murals throughout Shreveport Common. Murals are such a way for everyone to get to see art and feel good about their city and about their community. And then in the late spring, early summer, to kick off summer fun, we will be doing an exhibition, again, through this one grant of James Burton's guitars and celebrating the art of music at Art Space. So there's so much that the National Endowment for the Arts fuels for our region, for Northwest Louisiana. And, you know, one of the things the staffers are saying is, why should we put public funding into the arts when there is such tremendous private sector funding for the arts?
Well, Ms. Pam, before you respond, before you go a little further, I want to ask you this, and then you can sort of tie these two together. Given that you guys are doing a whole lot of cool stuff, on the other hand, we have a country that's, and I'm sure you see the point, is $20 trillion in debt, and people say, well, why would the government be in the opera or the radio business?
Well, I think for the same reason, the very same reason that the government is in medical business, is in legal business, is in everything that is important to all Americans. The government is into access. What the government does is provide excellence and access to that excellence. And that is why government subsidizes health care. It's why the government also subsidizes the arts.
But pardon me once again, yeah. But if it comes down to health care for the poor or Pagliacci, you see where you guys may come in second?
Well, I do, of course. But first of all, I just want to point out that the National Endowment for the Arts isn't funding Pagliacci. They are funding access to that concert for the poor. That's why everything is free. That's the whole point, is that just like this weekend, the point is that you don't have to belong to a Mardi Gras crew and pay the dues to the crew. You are getting free access to culture, which we do believe, Robert, is as important to the health of Americans and to what it means to be American as is health care.
Pam Atchison with Shreveport Regional Arts Council. Let me ask you this. Worst case scenario, it goes away. What happens with SRAC? Can you replace the funding elsewhere?
You know, we will, again, I don't think that any public funding ever gets replaced. I think that, as with everyone who takes a cut, you attempt to be more and more innovative and creative with the resources that you have. But the reason that the government is in trouble, Robert, is also because businesses are in trouble. And because as taxpayers, we are not able, just like in our very city of Shreveport, we are not able to have the buying capacity that generates the sales tax and generates the income tax that supports our government. And one of the things that we need to think about is that artists are also taxpayers.
Pardon me, Ms. Pam. So are you to some degree laying this in the lap of poorly run municipalities?
Oh, no. I'm talking about the fact that, again, as a city and a nation, our troubles come from economic woes. And we can't disavow the fact that even right here in our own city, the impact of the oil and gas industry has had a terrific impact on our ability as a city to support and fund things, and on our ability as a private sector. So when you say, can you replace NEA funds, as Erin has questioned, the answer is, well, there are not private sector dollars to support that either. For every dollar that we or any organization receives from the National Endowment for the Arts, we support it with $10 in additional programming. So these 4 programs that I've told you about are indeed almost $1 million over the course of a year to provide all of the programming and the access line of that programming opportunity. Mm-hmm. And when you do not have public funds and do not have the public credibility, I think that's one of the things we can't forget, is that what the NEA does, it's not that they give the dollar, it's that they give the review of the proposal to ensure the excellence. Just, again, the same way in healthcare, you're looking for access to excellent healthcare. And so, therefore, I would say, I don't think the dollars are replaceable. I definitely believe programs are going to be cut. What I fear is a nation for whom the arts and for whom medical care is only provided for those very wealthy who can afford to pay it out of pocket.
Pam, you have the biggest fundraiser in our community, Christmas in the Sky.
Yes.
Have you seen revenues at that event go down, or have the revenues gone up?
The revenues for Christmas in the Sky this year went down, and the audience numbers did not go down. We were thrilled to have a sellout crowd and to have so many people there. It was wonderful. But the personal spending at the event and the sponsorships for the event were much tighter and tougher this year.